Hello, hello. Testing. Oh my goodness, it's a stream. It's an Illyria stream on Illyria Studios. Why can't I hear the next song? Is it just quiet? Okay, I think it just starts off quiet. We're listening to Peter Gundry. Maybe I should turn it off so that I can use it on YouTube. But I just want to feel cozy. Hence the fire. Because it's finally sub 70 degrees in Alabama. It only took us till October, but we got here. Excuse me. We've got sexy burps. They're back, people. I don't know. I streamed a couple months ago, right? I don't know. We're going to do chaos streams, which is when I'm physically and mentally able to do them, which is when you really should do them instead of adhering to a schedule, yada yada. But also, we're doing whatever I want. And today, y'all voted on Twitter. I don't know who voted, because it doesn't tell you. But Craft Stream won. And then Co-working Stream, I think, was in second. So I'll definitely be trying that out during weekdays. Tomorrow I'm not working, so maybe we'll do a regular stream. Maybe we'll play video games. Also, we got the Spoonie earrings. You can order them through me. Hit me up. Shameless plug. But crafting stream is half stuff I want to craft to spark my own creativity, but also for my job because I do a crap load of vendor markets now. I have 2 weeks less than 2 weeks until my next event. And then that week I will have 3 events in a 7-day period. It's fine. It's just girly things. It's fine. It's fine. 2 of them are back to back. It's fine. It's Friday, Saturday, and then the next Friday. But I think it's going to be fun. They're Halloween themed. They're spooky themed. One is called Witchy Wares and Other Fairs. And then, so that event happens twice. That's the 2 Fridays. And then my own spooky artist pop-up that I do monthly. Oh my gosh. I had a total, not deja vu, but just memories of when we first met here on the Twitch, because I was watching videos and Undertale came up, and that was one of my first streaming things when I hit affiliate 4 years ago? 5 years ago? 5 years ago? Wait, no. How old is Dolly? Dolly's birth helps me know how long I've been streaming. But I've taken time off, so it's not really concurrent streaming. Consecutive. That's the word I want. Can you tell? I'm tired. My brain has no cells left in it. Okay, so I guess I've been doing this 5 years. Oopsie daisy. Whoops. I can't believe she's almost 5. That's illegal. Who let that happen? Also, ADD moment. Look at my cute little gnome. And he lights up. So, light warning. Well, if I can turn it on. Which way do you go? But then you can't really see his face. Or you can't really see him when the light's on. We met when I was about to pop. That's crazy. Now we're super besties. Now you're really stuck with me. I'm sorry. We've hung out in person multiple times now. But he has a little skull and crossbone hat and little spider web outfit. He's just so cute. I'm in my gnome era. Because I ordered this during June and then finally got it, I think, last month. We got this little guy. He looks naked. Twitch, not TOS. He's not naked. He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. But I love him. I got to show him to my therapist because we had to do virtual therapy recently. Do you ever think a stranger who's so quick to call you BFFL would actually trap you into being your BFFL? Yeah, it was a trap. Kids, Twitch is dangerous. Don't do video games on the internet. You might find best friends for life. It's very dangerous out there. So I'm crafting. I was doing this on my couch. And it's just going to be chill, like me doing it here. I'm not going to have fancy cameras or anything. We've got yarn. Foxy! Oh my god, I don't have alerts on this page, do I? Ah! Thank you! Thank you for the raid! So danger, stranger danger. Spooky Foxy. Everyone go follow Spooky Foxy. She's adorable. She makes cute TikTok videos. Timo! Oh my god, I forgot about your emotes, Spooky. They're so cute. The little booty. Somewhere I have a booty sticker or magnet from you. Somewhere in my chaos. I'm reorganizing in here. The goal is to get a day bed so that my dogs can hang out in here with me. Have I streamed since I've had a second dog? Yes. Maybe once. Thanks. I hope your stream was fun. I've never seen that game before. I don't even know how to pronounce it, so I don't want to try. I mean, I do want to try. I'm making a spooky craft. This is the back of it, but it's going to be a Jack Skellington coaster, a mug rug. This is the front. You can kind of tell. It just doesn't have the black yet. I think you did. I missed the stream. I think I've only streamed like once this year. Maybe twice. I don't know. We're trying to get back into it. But yeah, this is... I am the Pumpkin King. Yee. So punch needle is, excuse me, like embroidery, but thicker because you're using yarn and not like embroidery thread. I feel that. But I forgot butt spot. Oh my gosh. Also, the background music is really quiet. We're just going to turn up a skosh. It's fine. Let me know if it's overpowering to y'all. But I like to hear it. Yeah. So I've been crafting a lot. I've been reading a lot. Sweet husband got me a Kindle for my birthday. Sorry. Twitch has changed a lot. So because you raided, it says Raider in a bright yellow thing, and it's distracting me. I love it. That's helpful. But I'm so distracted. Where's my... Okay, I have my threader. Also, if y'all haven't played with Posca markers, they're paint pens. They're really fun. I've been doing lots of art. I've been doing lots of reading. Lots of hanging out with my dogs. Lots of events at the local cupcake shop, which is where I do my monthly artist pop-ups. You wished me happy birthday. You texted me. I think you're the only mod that did, but I mean, besides my husband who lives with me. No, you texted me. I'm pretty 99% sure you texted me. Now there's just the 1% of doubt because what is reality? I don't think reality exists. You panicked. Happy late birthday. Thanks. I'm in my 30s now. We don't talk about age, but I can talk about age because I'm a streamer. I'm also thinking of like making the stream and Discord officially 18 plus. Just for everyone else's safety and mine, I guess. But like, we don't need little kids in our community. I don't want to be responsible for that. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anyone to accidentally get hurt. Everything will start to hurt now. Just be aware. Listen, I have chronic pain. It already hurts everywhere. It's just gonna get worse. You'll be 30 this month. Yay! I didn't realize we were in the same year. Happy early birthday. 93 babies. This is the punch needle, which I actually stabbed myself accidentally. I didn't stab, I scraped myself with it. But it's got little holes there and there. It's cool. I love that it says I open gifts on stream, and that's literally never something I've done. But also no one needs to get me anything. It's so big. That's what she said. And so you put the threader through the hole. You can't really... Nope, you can't see that at all. Just know that there's a wire there. I'm doing the black. I finished the white yarn. I brought it in case there were spots that I missed. I don't really need it. So I'm setting that down. This is not a tutorial, but I will be telling you what I'm doing. So it's like a tutorial. It's a, oh hey, I've heard of punch needle. What's that? Let me watch someone do it and see if it's worth my time. I'm pulling out yarn because you want it to be loose. You want it to have slack. Not to be confused with the program slack. I lost the end. Ada, ada. If y'all follow Skitsy Poo, she does a really good ada ada. And I think she has reward points that you can do that on her stream. The fireplace vibes. Yay! I forgot that I had this. Also, I didn't realize I was wearing moons and I have a moon right there. It's fine. The vibes are immaculate. I feel like I should light a candle though. I got this really cute pumpkin candle from Target. It's cider. Apple cider. Ugh. It smells so good. It was only like $5. Need to get food hop off. Try to watch them. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hey, we should hang out in Discord sometime. Even if you can't game, we can still chat and hang out. And I hope that your injury heals. Bet that smells amazing. Go to Target. Actually, you don't even have to go to Target. Do what I do. Do Target. Drive up. Don't even have to go in the store. You will still spend all your money on cute fall things. But not as much as if you were tempted by the inside. There's the tip. Definitely. Yeah. I'm trying to hang out in Discord in general more. But I'm also trying to... I don't know. I don't want to say I'm avoiding my phone. Because I'm not. Because I have my phone with me all the time. Because I work from home 99% of the time. Stream Elements. Calm your titties. Stream Elements. Chill. Okay. So I'm going to put the yarn through the threader, I barely know her. Oh, I wish you were here because there's a new tattoo shop that just opened and like my friends work at it and run it. And their girlfriends, one is the piercer, one is a new tattoo artist, and they've had like new business deals because they started their own. Just gotta save up for it. Dude, it was like $31 for both. It's $31 for any. I think they're doing it for Friday the 13th. I think it's $31. They're also doing $31 tattoos, flash tattoos. And I've never done a flash tattoo or a Friday the 13th tattoo. I'm real tempted. You just need to move here, obviously. But also, what a power couple that like one of you does the tattooing and the other does the piercing. They're really sweet too. Girl, if I could, I would. I need a box fan in here, even though it's 48 degrees outside. Thank God. Ugh. Y'all, I've been dying in the heat this year. This year I've learned I have heat intolerance. Just, it's great. It's great. Even if I'm just sitting still. It's not good. Also, yes, I am a Stanley bitch. A basic water bitch. I'm so sorry. But here's my justification. One, this was from Target. You can't really see. Well, you kind of can. It's wisteria tie-dye. So it's purple tie-dye. I'll hear your intolerance. Oh. I'll heat your intolerance. Oh my. Oh my. I like this because one, it's 40 ounces. So I don't have to refill it as often. Two, it's pretty. Three, it has a straw, a clear straw, so I can make sure it's clean. But also, it doesn't move, right? So many of the tall tumblers I have, the straw goes, woo, 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 and then I end up stabbing myself in the nose, or just, I don't know. It works. Oh, and it fits in the cup holder. I also feel like water rich because we recently started getting monthly water deliveries of the big 5-gallon jugs. I don't know why I'm trying to show you how big 5 gallons is, but the big jugs. Because it's a pain in the butt to bring empty jugs to a store, fill them up, check them out, take them to your car, and then bring them inside. Like, that's a whole hassle. Bought my first Starbucks tumbler. Can you post pictures in the Discord? Or send them to me. Either way. I have a few Starbucks cups that I really like. 1 or 2 have gotten chipped just because I drop everything. I'm the klutziest person. I need to see what Halloween ones they have, or fall ones. So yeah, I'm gonna get to stabbing. So like I said, this is the back. This is the thicker side. This will be the front. Some people, when they do like big rugs, they shave it down. You could shave down the little one. I don't feel the need to. I like the thickness. That's what she said. Then I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna punch. And I pull through the little tail. And then I'm gonna be making loops basically, which I guess y'all get to see. I never see the loop end. Let me pull this out of the way. Which, by the way, what have y'all been up to? Tonight I discovered the movie from the 90s, Quest for Camelot, is free on YouTube. So I rewatched that for the first time in like 20 years. And I loved that movie as a kid. And so it made me very giddy to watch it again as an adult. I think it still holds up. Maybe I'm biased. I'm running into some resistance. That's fine. I'm not going to show y'all the whole time because holding it up here is going to get annoying. But I'll like show you little bits and sections as I do them. Ooh, let me show y'all before I forget because I'm going to need it later anyway. I brought it in here, right? There it is. They're technically sewing scissors. Also, this is my craft bag. It was meant to be a makeup bag. It's from ColourPop from the Mandalorian collection, but it's perfect for markers, and yes, it has cash in it right now from my work events. Look how cute. You can't really see the color, but it's chrome, so it's like rainbow. These scissors are so cute. And they're perfect for little projects like this. Amazon. I should make an Amazon store because I have a storefront, or I have an affiliate link. But I should do a storefront of like stream supplies, gamer supplies, decor supplies, crafting supplies, small business supplies. I don't know. Stuff like that. I like categorizing things and making lists. So even if no one ever buys anything from it, it would just be fun to categorize. Anyone else get like seasonal allergies all year long? Because I feel like that's me. I had summer allergies and now I'm gonna get fall allergies. Can I even call it fall, or is it fake fall? I'm gonna make sure I have a lot of yarn loose. If I put it on the floor, is it gonna get stuff on it? We'll see. We shall see. How's Dolly doing, Serenity? She's in what, preschool, right? She's growing up. She's a grown up. She's actually voting and paying taxes. I'm a big kid now. Oh, but yeah, if you haven't seen Quest for Camelot, it's like the Sword in the Stone sequel, but it's not a Disney movie. Asleep. I just left her room. Oh, good. I hope she sleeps well. I have not been sleeping well. I was sick about a month ago. She's in pre-K 4, the year right before kindergarten. Oh, I remember loving my pre-K teacher, Mrs. Bushnell, and she gave me a book called Make Way for Ducklings, and I think she wrote something nice in the front of it. I need to go like kidnap that book from my parents' house. I need to kidnap my American Girl dolls and my childhood stuffed bear. I don't know why I don't have that here. She's lost 2 teeth. I don't know what's already going in. Teeth freak me out, I will say. Whenever I have kids and they have teeth stuff, they will have to go to their dad for that. I'll be like, good job, kid. Tell the tooth fairy. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. Because teeth freak me out. It scares me. It grosses me out. Puke, blood, poop, whatever. Fine. Teeth, not an option. We all have our limits, I think. I feel like I was saying something. Oh yeah, Quest for Camelot. Great music. Story-wise, it takes place after Sword in the Stone, so King Arthur is being a king and starting, like, making the world a better place and getting everybody their bits of land. He's a grown-up. But then there's a bad guy, and stuff goes down. And there's dragons, and there's songs, and there's love, and only like a teensy bit of little sadness at the beginning. Because children movies, an ad? Oh no! Twitch taking all the money they can. You need to get your boyfriend to gift you a sub again. I promise I'll stream regularly. Okay, we're back. I was just saying your boyfriend needs to gift you a sub again. How's he doing? Is he alive? I mean, obviously he's alive. I think I saw him post on Facebook. I keep seeing on Twitter, Twitch is not a dating site. And I'm like, it's not, but my mods are literally dating each other. And I know lots of people that have started dating each other and met through Twitch. You shouldn't pursue someone because they are a Twitch streamer, you know? Which, speaking of Twitch streamers, there's going to be another Twitch meetup in Huntsville, Alabama. If you're local, or semi-local, if you're in the North Alabama area. I believe it's November 18th at High Ground Hobbies. I missed the last one. I pursued you for friendship. Well, I pursued you too. That's equal. I guess that's the nice thing about being a small content creator, is I don't have to worry about like the parasocial relationships. I think I just have relationships with people. Like, I think they're real. I don't know, maybe none of this is real. Maybe we're all in a simulation. What is reality? Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. I got sick right before my birthday, which was very pitiful. We had to reschedule my party. And then I got my husband sick. So he was sick too on my birthday. So we got to spend it together, miserable on the couch. I saw you and I was like, she's mine. Back at you, babe. I can vaguely remember like our first Discord call and your voice wasn't anything like I expected. It wasn't bad. It's just, you never know what people are actually going to sound like in real life. Especially if someone has an accent. Oh my gosh. I love meeting people from around the world and hearing how they talk. My sister has a friend from Scotland, and so we frequently imitate this friend out of kindness and love, and like, oh, they could talk to us all day long. I sounded like a mommy instead of a mommy. Instead of a butt. Buttspot is silly. I think my jokes are better than Buttspot. A mommy with a capital M, though. Mummy. Mummy wink. Hermigerd. Everyone's having babies. But that means that I can come see you because my other friend in your city is pregnant. So that means I have to come see you next year. Or whenever she has a baby shower. I assume she'll do like a January baby shower. If the kids do in March. February feels late. But maybe they do it late. I don't know. I haven't been to a baby shower in several years. I used to go all the time with my mom when I was a kid. Because she was the first of her like college friend group to get married and have a kid. Maybe not get married, but definitely have a kid. They had me right away. So mom used to throw parties for all her college friends, and I was the little helper. We would do baby showers, wedding showers, and I distinctly remember my godmother making tomato basil pie. And that sounds really delicious. I need to get a recipe for it. I've seen recipes for it. I've never made it myself. But now that summer's over, I want to move into fall recipes. I made a harvest loaf recently that a friend gave me. It's basically like a dessert bread. It has cinnamon, cloves, shredded apples, craisins, nutmeg. No, not nutmeg. It's allspice. Oh, it smells so good. And it tastes good. The cranberries kind of expand and pop. And apple is good in any dessert. I love apples. I feel like for fall desserts, for me, it's pecan pie, apple pie, pumpkin pie. Well, actually, I don't know if I like sweet potato or pumpkin more. The thing is, we usually do sweet potato casserole, not sweet potato pie. But in the country song, it's sweet potato pie, shut my mouth. So I don't know if I like sweet potato pie or not. I guess I'll have to bake more and find out. Also, so there's apple pie, right? I was looking up recipes for caramel apple pie because there's caramel apple pie tea that I like. But the first couple recipes were basically just apple pie, but with caramel sauce drizzled on top. That's stupid. If it's going to be a caramel apple pie, it should have caramel in it, right? Not just on top of it. That's like saying, yeah, bake sweet potato pie. You're biased. You just, it's the only way. Oh, darn. Your wife has to cook. Oh, no. You have to eat yummy food and try it out. Oh, no. What a rough life. This is an issue of utmost importance. You writing, it's the only way, makes me think of Mandalorian. This is the way. I have so many recipes I want to make. I also want to make my own recipes. I link. It's funny. Speaking of his username, he's been playing a lot of Zelda. He finished Tears of the Kingdom. And now he's playing Ocarina of Time, but was it Master Quest version? Is that what it's called? So basically Ocarina on hard mode. So we've been doing a lot of hanging out where he plays that and I do crafting or reading in the same room. I've been slacking on gaming. I play Dwarf Romantic a lot because it's just a chill city builder. With like little mini quests. I do that during work meetings because it doesn't take a lot of brain power. I can still listen to what people are doing, but I have something visual to do. I played a little bit of House Flipper. I've played a few minutes of Disney Dreamlight Valley, but I'm still at the beginning. So I just haven't gotten hooked yet. But I know that there's so much content for me once I do get hooked. Haven't been gaming much either. Life is a lot. Last game I played was to finish our playthrough of It Takes Two. Aww. Were you playing it with Vader? I watched Luxy Games playthrough of that. And I got like almost to the very end. It's a long game. Like, for her and the person she was playing with, it was several YouTube videos that were several hours long. Which, she doesn't know who I am, but Luxy Games, I love her content. She and her wife had a baby. And they have doggies and some other animals. She has really funny TikTok content. I'm trying so hard not to just, like, cough my lungs out on stream. But I feel like most people will experience this. Whenever I get a cold or a sinus infection, there's that lingering cough for a while. Well, and these days, people look at you like you have COVID. I'm like, no, I promise I don't. Like, I wash my hands, I stay home, and I just got my new booster. I only say tiny snippets of the game. Oh, saw tiny snippets of the game. Determined to avoid watching any more gameplay. Aw, yeah. I didn't think I was going to want to play it. It actually, like, parts of it look hard, but I don't know if that's just from, like, the people I watched struggling with it. I don't like the bug section. Like, if I play it, I don't look forward to that. But co-op games are fun. Parts of it were hard. Yeah. Especially if you're not in the same room. Having to communicate long distance can be difficult. It's a beautiful game. Aww. Yeah. I want to play... Well, I want to play some scary games for Halloween, I applied to be a volunteer for Stream for a Cause. They do charity nonprofit stuff. And they're doing Spooktober stuff. So we'll keep an eye out for that. I'm friends with someone on the board for that nonprofit. Like, they're an actual registered nonprofit. So I might see if she has any priority. She doesn't stream as much now. She's a drag queen. She's a local drag queen. She's super nice. I think she's awesome. But anyway, I want to do charity streams for them, so I might do some spooky stuff. Like, I'd love to do Cult of the Lamb. I still haven't owned it or played it. The new Assassin's Creed came out, so I guess I should play that at some point. BRB, you're Gucci, you're Gucci. I still need to finish Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Oops. Oopsie. I think I got disheartened because last year, one of the last times I streamed last year was a stream of that, but my mic wasn't working and nobody in chat told me, and I took it really personally, which I'm sensitive. We know this. But that meant that I couldn't upload it to YouTube like I wanted, and I felt very disheartened. Also, just my mental health was poo-poo last year. Poo-poo. There's so many Assassin's Creed games. Yeah, it's a lot. But this one looks like the original, which the original isn't even my favorite. Y'all know the Ezio games are my favorite. Stream Elements, calm your tits. I might just turn that timer off and just have it be a command. Like, if someone wants to know how to clip, I don't know. It is cool that you can do that, though. Exclamation point clip. I've thought about, if I'm streaming regularly again, or even semi-regularly, hiring someone to help me make stream, not content, but like TikTok videos or YouTube videos, like get my clips and compile them and edit them in a nice way. I could learn to do it myself, but I don't have time or energy for that. I'm too busy. Oh, yes! I had so much fun finding those emotes, which they should all be in the Discord too. If you can't sub, you could use channel points to get free emotes. Okay, so I got one eye done. There's some loops here that I'll fix, but now I'm going to just pull out Vader, oh my god! He lives! I'm gonna chop it off with my snazzy scissors. Ew, PDA in the chat. Blech. And then I have this again, and I can start the next eyeball. Let's see if I can make this. Yeah, this will need to be fixed. Barely, but I live. I feel that. So you can see that this will be Jack Skellington. This is what the back looks like. I have to add the eye, other eye, the nose, and the toofies. What's this? What's this? There's white shit everywhere. That's my favorite version. Vader, how are the children's that you teach? How's the school year going? My yarn is getting tangled. And I don't want to pull it out because I don't want to have to rethread my punch needle. Why is this music so dramatic? Peter Gundry. Wait, hold on. Let me go back and see if it'll... Yeah, that one was called The Seventh Seer by Peter Gundry. I'm just listening to it. This is Peter Gundry on Spotify. I thought it would be good, like, spooky music. Because it was either that or find just basic autumn background music. So far, so good. Got Superior to first contest last week. Hell yeah. I almost said hell yeah to a 6-year-old the other day. I didn't. I stopped myself. So I just said, yeah. She was so cute. So one of the events that I help host, that I came up with, I didn't come up with, but I came up with, is Cupcakes and Coloring, which is just a free art hangout at the cupcake shop, which is where I do all my events, basically. Did he bring you banana bread? I remember that reference. It's a good day. This mom brought her 2 little girls in, and she takes one of them next door to go get dinner, and the other one just talk. She would not stop talking. It was cute. It's cute. Hell yeah. Y'all are distracting me, which I love. I've missed y'all. And the funniest thing she said, well, okay, at one point she was talking about YouTube, and then she's like, but you know, you don't want to go too viral on TikTok. They went too viral. It's like, oh yeah. And then at one point she says, but why do you have pink hair anyway? And I was like, 'cause it's fun, or I'm made of candy. You decide. And then her little sister accidentally activated the knockoff Roomba. You're gonna be a Harshville! You better come see me, bitch. Do you need a place to stay? I have 2 obnoxious dogs. I don't know if that would bother you. And 2 cats, but like, they usually leave, keep to themselves. Or if you have a hotel that's like paid for, do that, because that will be nicer than my house. But anyway, hit me up. I'll take you to someplace cool. Yeah, no, paid for a hotel is much nicer than crashing on a bed in my house. Although by then, this room will be back to like guest room studio status. There's going to be a daybed in here so I can cuddle up with the dogs and read a book. I have a conference. Oh. So fun fact, I don't know if I've said this last stream, but I work part-time for a nonprofit now. And I have since April, May-ish. So that's cool. So that's part of why I haven't had time and energy to be on stream, but also that pays me a regular paycheck that I have to prioritize that. Because dang, groceries are expensive. Sometimes it's cheaper to eat out, or not cheaper, but like the same as buying the ingredients and cooking it myself. Having an air fryer helps. Also, having a Costco membership helps, but you spend so much on the initial like grocery run to buy the bulk items, but then you're set. Like, I've got mac and cheese for days. I've got cereal for days. Bread for days. One of those where we get all the music teachers to stay in the same room. Ooh. Is it AMEA or like something similar to that? This is called the Vampire Masquerade Organ version. I dig it. This is spooky. This is Halloweeny. Yes. Okay, cool. Cool. I do know things that I'm not a part of. You'd be so proud of me, except you wouldn't. That's so negative. One of the many, many events I'm hosting, we did cupcakes and karaoke on Saturday. It was supposed to be my birthday weekend, but again, I was super sick for my birthday. Really, you can't sing when you're dying. I mean, you can, but it's not enjoyable. But that means that was the first time I've sung in public in a long time. I'm trying to think, did I play Piper and Leaf last year or the year before? I don't know if I've played since then. It must have been 2021. I don't know anymore. I think that was the last public performance. And like, karaoke's not really a performance, but I was hosting year before. How do you know? How do you know my life? I don't know why it's so dang hot in here. I think it's just because I'm talking a lot and I'm... Another ad! Oh no! Quick, everyone say nice things about Serenity while she can't hear them. Yes, I just subbed because fuck ads. Thank you. I don't have alerts on this scene, apparently. So I'll fix that for next time. But it's also kind of peaceful not having alerts. Well, actually, the alerts should still go in my activity feed, even if they don't go on the stream. Look at you being a founder, 41-month subscriber, you weirdo. You weirdo. Okay, I'm back. We all said horrible things about you while you were gone. Vader, what are you doing with your life that you were subbed to me for 41 months? Vader gifted a 1-month sub to Serenity. Thanks! Ermagerd. I promise I'll add alerts to this scene for next time. I just liked how it looked from a previous thing. Also, isn't it cool? I can do a stream that's not Dead by Daylight. Now she doesn't have to do ads. Yay! What a good partner. That is so nice of you. I don't even know if Link was subscribed. I think he's been my only subscriber while I haven't been streaming. I don't think anything is on this scene. I think if I here. And now we have the alerts. There's that. But it's not as cozy. Oh, I have bats! It's freaking bats! I need to put up my Halloween decorations! I got some cheap stuff from someone who's doing, a friend who's doing a big yard sale. I got some tombstones. I got some bats to put up. Vader's the only one with sound effects. Here, let me see if it'll go. That's weird. I don't think it was play Vader. What was the... What if it's just... I don't remember what the command is. Let me look it up. God, that's bright. Who needs a ring light when you have the computer and the whitest skin on... Not the planet. My husband has the whitest skin. He's like freaking Moses coming down from Mount Sinai. I will just sing it. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Not loyalty. Chatbot? Chat commands? No, it wouldn't be under commands because it's something you can buy. So it would be stream store. Okay, okay. Ultra gay. Do, 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 do. Edit item. Okay, yeah, I understand that it's called Vader, but what's the command? Redeem. We remember how to stream. Professional streamer. That's what you pay the big bucks for. Now I want to remember what all these do. Oh.
Surprise! Button 6,
Well, I guess the stream isn't going on YouTube. See, I could just ruin the fun and go back to the fireplace scene. Everyone remembers that command. I remember Y'all using that command.
Penis.
Thank you. My dogs probably heard that and are now going to go from the other room. I remember us doing sounds like Oni-chan when Serenity was at her desk job. I don't know what he just said. Oh god, I'm scared now. The description for Vader says daddy's home. I don't like that. You said why? I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't think about the fact that you're watching this on the TV, so they not only heard it through the house, but they heard it on the TV. I'm so sorry. Back when she hated you. Yep. You just turned down the volume so much. Because we kept doing it. Does this one still... Or is that the one that you just did? What's the command? Next. Oh. I'm sorry. I think it was this one. Maybe. Yeah. The little at the end is so funny. We reference that a lot. We're like, yeah. She earned it, you know. There was some hard work. She gets a little break. God, somewhere there's a list of all of these. Wow. Why did I have so many? Oh my gosh, glitter points. I don't even know how you check them. Oh no. How do you only have 20 glitter points? There. Maybe it reset? Wait, which one did Moonlight like? The sex noise one? That's concerning. Weird animal. Although dogs doing the head tilt is the cutest thing. No, Assassin Blades is like Twitch side. Glitter points is through stream elements. Sex noise, yup. Weird dog. Can I give points? Hold on. Leaderboard. Well, Link is the highest. Then it's Liss. Then it's me. Then it's Moobot. Vader is 8. This place has more currencies than a phone game. And yet, give points. Oh, maybe it's because you had to get a new account, didn't you? Or no, you got back into your main account. This is your main account. Okay, try. I gave you 2,000 points. You're still not. Oh, you're 11 now. I don't know what happened. Yay. Take a 2-year break. I'm number... I mean, we all took a 2-year break. TBH. Or, sorry. A government handout, please. Yeah, I'll get right on that. Once I, am done paying the government back. No. Only me? You wouldn't need a government handout if the sperm donor of your spawn were a better human. I said what I said. Oops, but I said it vaguely enough that no one can get mad at me. I mean, people could always get mad at me, TBH. Sorry, I'm finishing this eyeball. Hand out on channel points. No, Vader has 5,000. He's fine. I am the ruler, apparently, and I get to determine how many points you need. The crazy thing is that my husband has 228,000. I mean, we all know what he does for the points. I just wanted glitter points. And then Liz is like 150,000. Give or take. I don't even remember what gives you. I think like watching the stream and then other stuff. I don't know. It's a weird system. I didn't make it up. I just work here. Daddy Bezos takes all the money. This sounds like freaking Assassin's Creed music. Lucifer's Hymn. Okay, I think we're gonna change the vibes a little. It's watching and then watching while subbed. Yas. Oh my god, Stardew Valley music. Oh, yeah. One of my new friends, we met on Twitch, and she was like, oh, I'm moving to Alabama. And I was like, hey, I'm in Alabama. Not to be weird, but like, thanks for the resub. For 41 freaking months. I miss us playing Stardew Valley together. And me playing for 12 hours straight while y'all were like at work or whatever. I did like all of winter by myself. But anyway, so my friend now, she's like, I'm moving to Alabama. And I'm like, not to be weird, but like, what part of Alabama are you moving to? And she's like, Huntsville, Madison area. I'm like, I live there. If you want to be friends and like meet in a public place sometime, hit me up. And yeah, we're buddies now. She streams regularly. She's cool. She also uploads to YouTube regularly. Maybe I could pay her to edit my stuff because I like her edits. I don't know why. Oh, that's why I brought her up. She recently did a 100%ing of Stardew Valley, and literally within 2 days, Concerned 8 posted that new updates were coming. It's like they knew. They knew. Do we think Haunted Chocolatier is ever going to come out? Oh no! Can you just back? Like browser back? Mod view is horrendous. I never use it. Like for channels that I've modded. My yarn is trying to tangle. Haunted Chocolatier is a lie. It's a figment of our imagination. Just like Wolf Among Us 2. I also want to play it. But it has to come out to play it. I don't need to like make tons of money and be a big streamer. But I do want to be enough of a streamer or content creator that I get to play things for people for free. Or get paid to pay them. That'd be cool. The Witchy game I was obsessed to come out with a full release. Was it the one? I think I added it to my wish list. Hold on, I'm literally going to look at my Steam wish list. Also, Plague Tale sequel came out. I still haven't played that. It's been out for a year now. Not Honey Pop. Tormentum Dark Sorrows sequel never came out. Little Witch in the Woods. Oh. I thought it was Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Because I have that on my wish list. Not Honey Pop. Lola. Lola. Oh, I can remove Disco Elysium from my list because we got it in Humble Bundle. My sister likes that game. I kind of want to play Texas Chainsaw Massacre because everyone was playing it for a while. But I've never seen the movie and I feel like I should. Now I'm just playing my Steam wish list. Heard it was rough. It looked weird. I really only want to play it because FOMO. I still need to play Cult of the Lamb. I played a few minutes of Ooblets the other night because they have a Halloween update, but it's been so long since I've played it that I don't know what I was doing. It'll be the next Twitch bait game, like only up. What? Those were words. They didn't make sense in my brain. Help. Send help, please. This yarn is being a hoe and a half. Vader, what have you been doing in your spare time when you're not a workaholic? Do you have spare time? And Serenity, what have you been doing in your spare time? Started AC Mirage. I want to get it, but I also still need to play AC Valhalla. And I need to get new PS4 controllers or figure out the charger on mine because it wasn't charging right. You do work too much. How do you like the big girl job? I know it's new, and so you're still like learning a bunch of stuff and shadowing people. Okay, I feel like I'm doing like, do you remember back in the day when people would be like Cat's Cradle and Jacob's Ladder? Do you remember that? I was talking to someone else about it. I never was good at it, but I liked watching other people do it. Much prefer this to the open world ones. Ooh, so it's more linear? That's good to know. Yeah, I have not liked the mechanics of Assassin's Creed games for a while. I think it started changing around Syndicate, and that was probably one of the last... Well, okay, I didn't play Unity, so maybe Unity was one of the last, like the old games. My only off day Sundays. Sleep, do laundry, unpack until I'm done with the boxes. Yeah, unpacking's a bitch. I'm loving the big girl job. Yay! Yay! Unity was where it changed for me. That's what I figured. It's kind of a mix between the two. It's a good middle ground. I liked the atmosphere of Origins. I love Egypt. I thought the character of Bayek was well done. I thought his wife was a hottie. I never finished it. I got distracted. Link bought me an Xbox One to play that game on. And that's the only game I've played on it. He's used the Xbox One more than I have. Which, hey, we're married. We share consoles. It's fine. Valhalla, I got distracted and kept playing the dice game. Now I wanted to restart it completely, but our dog chewed through one of the PS4 cords, and then Sprite or something spilled on another controller. So there's issues all around. If you're a Souls person, you should do Lies of P. Bad dogging. Lies of P. Oh, bad doggo. I knew what you meant. I'm looking it up. Ooh. Souls-like video game. Okay, but like, is it hard for no reason? That's what she said. That's my problem with the Souls games. Story of Pinocchio. Darkly elegant. Okay. That's a cool atmosphere. Oh, excuse me. I think I'm going to take inspiration from some other streamers that I follow that they stream more regularly, but not for super long periods of time. So it's less overwhelming. It's hard, but it's attainable. Uh-huh. Says the tryhard who 100% games for fun. I mean, doesn't everyone 100% them for fun? Okay, I love you too. Thanks for being here. I will let y'all know either in Discord or Twitter whenever there's more streams. They will be sporadic and random, and we'll just see what happens. When there's a charity stream, I'll be sure to like promote that ahead of time, because we'll want to like actually get people here to help raise money and spread the word for whichever charities we are working towards. Oof. Not the Turf Wizard game. Oof. If I want to play as a wizard, I just play Skyrim. That's my 2 cents. Link has been playing Zelda Master Quest for Ocarina of Time. Master Quest? Collectible Nightmare? Oh, I bet. What game was he playing? Oh, I guess he's been trying to 100% Metal Gear Phantom Pain, which is stressful. I don't love the Bethesda games. Fair. I like Fallout, which is just Skyrim with guns. But that's more for the atmosphere than the, like, actual game quality. But I do like the role-playing aspect of it. Like, I will always remember in Fallout New Vegas using, I think it was the Black Widow perk, where I seduced Benny, slept with him, and then shot him in the head in bed. It's the best way to get rid of a bad guy. Want to try Starfield? I just know that everyone's talking about it. Everyone's either talking about Starfield or freaking Baldur's Gate. And, like, I love a good RPG. But the top-down looks so annoying. I don't know. Maybe I could get past it. Well, the cutscenes look beautiful. And everyone's obsessed with it. So I have that slight FOMO. I bought the Amazon game 2 years ago. I played maybe an hour or two of it. I'm not that smart. I need a linear game so I don't have to think about. Asterian dating sim. Bang bang shooter game. Yee. Okay, I think I'm done with this eyeball. Out of context, that sounds really weird. Doing the teeth is not going to be fun. Well, I say that. Maybe it won't be so bad. Okay. It needs trimming and stuff, but, like, he has eyes now. You can kind of see that he's Jack Skellington. Again, this is the back. The front. So much glare. New COD beta is going on right now. Of course there's another one. Can you imagine when we're, like, retirement age, how many Call of Duty games there will have been by that point? There'll still only be, like, 6 GTAs. That's when GTA 6 will come out. It's when we're retired. Ugh. I will still be playing it. You will. It'll probably just be reboots at that point, you know? Oh, that's weird to think about, because video games have only existed for so long. Not the claw hand, no! No! Are we still on Stardew music? Or this just happens to also be a Stardew song. Fall, go synth. This is perfect! Hold on, I have to add this song to my nerdy instrumental playlist, which really I should just add this whole thing to it. Wow, there's a lot of tracks. Hello? There it is. Yes, this is Stardew. And onto that playlist. Okay, love you. Bye. Get some good sleep. Nerdy instrumental. Which my Spotify playlists are public. If anyone wants to deep dive into the craziness. More like the unmedicated ADHD. That's really what they are. Okay, I guess we'll do the freaking nose. 3 or 4 per season. 1 main one and then 1 for the holidays. PDA. I almost just did this the wrong way. Here, I'll do the thing I did earlier where I show you. Bunch. And then I just keep making loops. Loop-de-loop. But yeah, I'm not going to keep holding it up because that's annoying. I'm just so happy you guys are here. And said hi and chatted. I've missed y'all. I want to do some co-working streams, which I know, like, if you work at school, you can't, like, watch a stream. But some people who also can watch Twitch while they're at work or work from home or whatever, I really enjoy co-working streams. Even if I'm just lurking, I enjoy having them on in the background. That's right. I am the Pumpkin King. Jack, the Pumpkin King. I can't get away with that. Yeah, that would... Yeah. I don't imagine how that would go down. Don't imagine it. Words are hard. Drink water. This is Final Fantasy music. I have never played a Final Fantasy game. I played demos as a kid, and I remember there being a long bridge. One of the old ones. And doing a fight on the bridge. That's about it. And then I've seen Link play the beginning of 7, I think. And naming the characters really funny things. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate, and thanks for the subs. The gift subs. All that. Appreciate you. If you ever want to chill in Discord or whatever, hit me up. I'm trying to be more social. Sort of. Here, we'll go back to the campfire. Let me check something real quick. Not that tab. Oh, my allergies. Let's see. How long have I been streaming? Hour and a half. Trying to see if any friends are on. Oh, I know your name, but I don't remember who you are. We might do someone that's playing Fallout New Vegas. Do someone, raid to someone. We'll see who's on when we get off. Everything sounds like a giggity. Okay. I'm gonna keep working on this nose. Everything I say sounds really weird out of context. And that's okay. I've been really loving punch needling. Especially, I've become, I guess this year, an F1 girly. Formula One, which is, like, international car racing. I don't know how else to describe it. I say it's NASCAR, but around the world. And better than NASCAR. So, a lot of times, whenever there's a match, a race on, I call it the game. It's my sport of choice. We'll watch that in the living room. And I'll punch needle while we watch. Because I can look up periodically. I can listen. I frequently will watch YouTube and craft. I've been watching a lot of reading vlogs because, as I said, I got a Kindle for my birthday. So I'm trying to read more. Not trying in any, like, need to way, just in a, like, I want to do this thing I enjoy, but I forget to do things sometimes. I get very distracted. Okay, we'll have to separate it because right now it looks like he has a dog nose. I'll have to do some loopity loops. I can always add more white to it as well. I wonder if I can just cut a loop out. I don't know why these are being so prominent. The Pumpkin King. I'm scared to try the teeth. They look good on marker. I just have to fill in this area. I might do that off stream. I think that sounds like a good thing. Okay, yeah. There's no pressure. We're tiptoeing into streaming. It's okay. Back into streaming. Let's see who's on. We might just end it and then host someone. Remember, is hosting even a thing anymore? Raids are weird. Anyway. Love y'all. Thanks for being here. Check Discord and Twitter to see when we'll stream again. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I definitely want to do co-working streams, like I said. More crafting, gaming, and keep an eye out for charity stuff. So, thanks guys. Bye!